This is a lukewarm defense of The Resort. It's not a great name, but bear with me on this one. Now, I absolutely adore zombies, and the bar is admittedly a little bit low for me to consider something a good time, and alcohol may or may not be a requirement for said good time. Having said that, I think anybody that likes zombies should most definitely check this film out. I think it's a hell of a ride, and I want to try and sway you into taking this little journey with me. So, without further ado, welcome to The Resort. Okay, right off the bat, this is the moment that separates the high thinkers of society and the plebeians. Can you or can you not suspend your disbelief that after a zombie war killing 2 billion humans, an evil business lady would find an island completely inhabited by zombies and turn it into some kind of a Jurassic Park Westworld-like experience where you can do target practice and pick off zombies at your leisure, with the guaranteed safety provided by zoning, jeeps and personal guides? All the while, nobody will ask any questions. No one will wonder where this limitless supply of zombies is coming from. No one will question the morality or anything. Wait, you can buy all that? Well, fantastic. Then you, good sir, are a high thinker of society, and this film will satisfy that big old brain of yours. So, let's be real, the premise is actually pretty fun. Of course it's derivative, a lot of this film is to be honest, but it's also pretty creative and kind of cool. It gives you a great perspective that most zombie films don't, and that's a world that is after the outbreak. After solving everything, everything's fixed, we've done it, we've won, the dust has settled, and now we're in the aftermath. That's a pretty unique and interesting lens, no? But only if they do something with it though, right? But here's the thing, they actually do. And it's kind of cool. The film actually has some pretty cool ideas and concepts. Our main character has PTSD from her dad being killed by zombies. Her boyfriend is a veteran from the zombie war and is suppressing some major trauma.
You okay?
Yeah. We also have the polar opposite kind of veteran whose reason for visiting the island is because it's the only thing I know how to do, goddammit. I actually quite enjoyed everyone revealing why they are there throughout the film. Some are there as veterans or dealing with PTSD, some won gaming competitions, and some are just, they were stood up by their, for whatever reason it was supposed to be a honeymoon? I don't know. And others are just lads being absolute lads.
Show 'em, boys.
I felt this guy's reaction in my core. I can't stress enough that the characters are surprisingly interesting. Characters actually change and have arcs that develop through the film. People that perhaps I didn't or did like in the beginning, I found my opinions on them changing as I learnt more about them. I just respect that this film is really going for something more than it needed to. It could have been just a shameless, shitty zombie film, but it's really trying to do something different, and I applaud that. I also love the aesthetic of this film. They really knew when to use the budget and when they could get away with cutting corners.
The hardest thing going in from the start was we knew we had to create a believable environment, this resort, where effectively if you're going to do that in the real world, they're going to spend infinitely more than we had for the entire budget of the movie. But then also to deliver, again, when you've not got a lot of money, we only had like 34 days to shoot the entire thing over 2 countries. What I found fascinating about shooting this film though is that I had a wonderful director of photography, Roman Ozen, who had never done a genre picture and was actually well known for doing more art house kind of films. He'd worked with Asif Kapadia on films like The Warrior. I remember to actually convince the producers to let me use him, I showed them clips from Joe Wright's version of Pride and Prejudice with Keira Knightley. They're like, you want to shoot a zombie picture with this guy? I'm like, absolutely, look at his light, look at the way.
Perhaps most importantly, the zombies and the gore look fantastic. The intro to the park is awesome. I love the uniforms and the Jeep. It's so goofy, but it's just really fun. And then there's the park itself, which is a little bit on the cheaper side, but it kind of works with it essentially being a big gun range. The movie also dabbles into some social commentary. It's not exactly subtle, so maybe I should say it stumbles, but I think the whole refugee angle is kind of interesting and it's a nice touch. But honestly, it raises a lot more questions than it answers, and it's not implemented or fleshed out as well as it could have been to really have an impact. In the end, it does kind of feel a little bit tacked on. One really cool thing that I like about this film is how it plays with the idea of the zombies being human. As soon as you turn into a zombie, that's it. You're completely stripped of all human rights. I think it's kind of interesting, and It's a discussion that hasn't really been explored before in zombie movies. They introduced some zombie activists, which is a little bit goofy, but if you actually listen to what they're saying,
we have all these ethics about how we're treated before we're born and after we die, but we get bit, we're just fair game. Literally. Jesus.
I kind of disagree with your arguments, but I get what you're saying, and I can see where you're coming from. There's a really fun moment where our lead is about to shoot her first zombie, but while it's in her sights, it looks at her, and she can't do it. She sees the human that it once was. That's interesting, right? So interesting, in fact, that I personally think they could have just dropped the whole refugee thing and focused way more on that. I think it's a really fresh idea, and I wish that they focused on that a lot more. I'll say the ending is a little bit too Hollywood for my taste, but it's exciting, and there's like a really fun little sequel bait at the end, which, man, I really hope we can get one someday, but let's be real. Look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that this thing is amazing, but is it one of the better, more creative, genuinely fun and not irritating zombie films of the last 10 years that actually appears to have some passion, creativity and intent behind it? Absolutely it is. I had zero expectations going in and was expecting to just see some zombies eating some stupid characters. And yeah, you definitely do get that. But I didn't expect to actually be leaning forward in my chair saying, they've only gone and bloody done it. Go into this with the knowledge that it doesn't quite reach the heights of the zombie greats, but in my humble opinion, it most certainly is sitting comfortably atop a pile of shit that has saturated the genre before it. Grab a beer, grab some friends, just enjoy it. It's a fun movie. I'm still kind of trying to figure out what this channel is. I don't know, I'm just kind of enjoying. I don't get many chances to talk about films in my day-to-day life. I'm kind of using this as like a bit of my outlet to just spew a lot of hot garbage out into the ether. But yeah. See ya.